Chapter 3 is all about solving equations. We're going to start from the very basic and work our way by the end of the chapter to some very complex equations. This first section is just one step, meaning it only takes one operation to get the variable all by itself and solved. One of the big things you'll have to keep in mind as we go through solving equations is that we're going to use order of operations backwards in order to solve. Let's look at some examples. In the first one, you see that the letter x is with the minus 8. Since the equation is subtracting 8, we're going to do the opposite and add 8 to both sides. That means x now equals 11. Now, although most of you could have probably figured that out on your own using some mental math, we want to get in good habits of equation writing. So I suggest drawing a line down through the equal sign, trying to balance the equation. In the next one, they've added 14 to the x. So we're going to do the opposite, subtract 14. Now, x will equal negative 8 minus 14, which is negative 22. This next one is no different, except it's a fractions. That always causes some problems for students. We treat it the same way, though. They subtracted 1/3, so we're going to do the opposite and add 1/3. I'm going to go off to the side here and actually do the math. I need to do 1/4 plus 1/3. These need a common denominator. They don't have anything in common, so I'm going to use 12. To make an equivalent fraction, in the first one, I'll multiply the top and bottom by 3. And in the second one, I'll multiply the top and bottom by 4. So altogether, I have 7/12. In the next example, x is being multiplied by 5. The inverse operation to multiplication is division. Now, instead of using the division symbol, the line with the little dots on top and bottom, I'm going to use the fraction bar. "27 is not evenly divisible by 5, so I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction, 27/5. The next one, x is now being multiplied by 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3/4. However, if you remember, division by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to make use of that fact. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. That means the left gets multiplied by 4/3, and so does the right. Over here, everything goes away. But on the right-hand side, I now need to figure out what 6 times 4/3 equals. I'm going to do some reducing since 3 goes into 6 twice. That way I can multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom to get 8/1, or just 8. Let's do another one of those fraction problems. Here again, p is being multiplied by negative 2/3. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3/2. P now will equal whatever 1/2 times negative 3/2 equals. No need to get a common denominator here, since we're doing multiplication. Multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. One more. In this problem, it looks a little different just because the x is on a different side. Doesn't change the way you do the problem. We're still trying to get x by itself. X is being multiplied by negative 6, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. Now 26 isn't divisible by 6, but it is reducible. Both of them are even, so I'm going to divide by 2 to get negative 13/3. Again, it doesn't matter that the x is on the right. The answer still remains the same. In all of these problems, just concentrate on figuring out what operation has been done to the letter and then undo it with the inverse operation.